Tally is one of my favorite tools online. Why? Because with Tally you can create form in less than a minute. This non-code tool helps you to create form visually. It works a bit like Google Doc or Notion, and it has a lot of possibilities. It's also free. When you start using Tally, you can create forms and collect data, transfer this data through Webhooks, for instance, directly to Notion, Google Doc, or Airtable. But what I like the most is that this tool is visually nice and really easy to use. In this entire course, I'm going to teach you how to use Tally. And basically, if we want to use Tally as developers, for instance, it's because we are tired of creating forms all the time. We prefer to have an interface that is easy to manage, and this interface could be accessible for marketing department, for instance, and we don't need all the time to come back on this form to code it again. Here's the program of our course. First, we're going to talk about how to create a form. So I'm going to show you all the basics, how to handle this tool, how to create an account, how the dashboard is working. I'm going to talk about templates, and in Tally you can use templates because people created forms by the past and shared the template that you can reuse. You can also, if you want, create your own templates and share them. Then I'm going to show you how to share your form. We're going to talk about embeds, and probably this is one of the most interesting part of this course because as a developer you would like to embed your form directly inside your application. So the embed option is probably the most important option for us. Then we're going to talk about customization because even if it's a form that you are going to create online through the form builder, you are still able to work on the customization of the CSS, etc., etc. We're going to talk about collecting payments. You can connect Tally directly to Stripe and collect the payments this way. We're going to talk about custom CSS and the code injection because you can inject also code into your form. Finally, we're going to talk about the webhooks. And the webhooks, it's probably the most interesting because as a form that is outside of your application, you would like to trigger some events every time somebody is going to fulfill your form. So probably webhooks is one of also the most important part of this course with the embeds. The webhooks are really, really useful for that. Finally, also, I'm going to talk about the workspace and team members, how to collaborate inside Tally. They thought about everything. When they build a form, they thought about the fact that probably several persons would work on the same form, and you can do this through Workspace and team members. I'm really excited to start to teach you how to use Tally, and I really encourage you to go and to create a form on it to try it. Tally is probably one of the best tools that I used those last years, and in comparison to its competitors, for me it is the best. So if you are ready to follow this course, let's go! As a developer, I'm creating forms every day, and most of the time it's for marketing. It's not even for tech or data. So why not to use an external tool that helps us to create forms and to embed this form everywhere we want, and also to share the link to collect data. Tally is the best solution form that I found since years. Of course, there's a lot of other solutions that help you to do that, but the most efficient, the most beautiful product and most useful product that I found is actually Tally. So Tally is the simplest way to create forms. You can create forms in a minute. And as you see here in this demonstration, you can create forms exactly like you were on Notion, okay? So basically, Tally has a lot of features, unlimited forms, submission, you can collect payment, you can do file upload, thank you page, email notifications, calculator, form logic. There's a lot of features and there's a lot of integration with Notion, Airtable, Zapier, etc., etc. So when we go down on the landing page, we see that first, they care about the design and the product, and this is something that I like because as a developer, I want to have really professional results and really professional impressions to my clients. So basically here, we can see that we can create a form and customize everything. We can customize banners, logo, but also we can create also conditional logic, for instance, and that is really useful. Okay, so let's dive into Tally right away. You can either click on create a form up here, or you can create directly an account. So basically me, I already got an account. I'm going to show you how the dashboard is looking like and how to create your first form. All right, I have created my account with Code with Guillaume. There we go. And when we have created an account on Tally, we arrive on the dashboard. So we've got a lot of options here. We are going to pass on all of these options. But what I'm going to do at first is to click here on create a form. All right, so there we go. We are at the core of Tally. The product is basically here on the form creation, because Tally helps you to catch data into forms and to retrieve them into Google Sheets or tables, for instance. All right, so here we've got a lot of options. First, we have this header bar with many options: insert, page, logo, cover, design, and settings. Publish and preview are not are disabled for now because we didn't fulfill anything. And here we can see that we've got several options. Down there we've got get started. It's majorly guides to help you to create your first form, to embed it, to have some help from the help center, and about the pro plan, because yes, there is a pro plan with Tally. We will talk about it in the next lessons. Here we got how-to guides to collect payment, conditional logic, calculator, etc., etc. We've got two options. We can press enter and we will have an empty form. Okay, so if I press enter here, we see that I arrive directly on the editor. So we've got several options, exactly like in Notion. But if I get back here, I can start with a template. So if I click to template, we've got here a lot of templates. We will have also a lesson about it to immediately create really fast, like this, a form to catch data. All right, so me, I'm going to start by myself. Feedback about my video, okay? And I want to know what rate my video. Let's say that I want to rate my video and I'm going to send you this form. What I can do is to click on the plus here or insert up here, okay? It's the same, plus or insert, it's the same here. And here I got options. I can catch a lot of things: short answer, long answer, multiple choice, checkbox, number, etc., etc. So me, what I want is rating, okay? I got rating here. So I'm going to click on rating, and here I can see what I can actually import into my form. If I would click to file upload, I would have this, etc., etc. So I'm going to click on rating, and I'm going to insert this, and there we go. Okay, so what I want to do also is to add a logo. So when I click on logo, I got this actually this square here that is appearing, and when I click on it, I can import a logo. All right, I imported my logo. Now I want to put a cover, and we see here that I can change the cover. And when I click, I got several options. I can upload a cover, I can click on a link, I can click on unsplash, or I can put just a color, for instance. So I'm going to click on unsplash, and I'm going to add one. Okay, let's say I'm going to add this one. There we go. Of course, I could create I could create a cover that I want. So basically, this is what the client are going to see. So when I click here and then I click on submit, it's going to submit. So I'm going to go back to the editor and I'm going to click on settings. And here on settings, I can put also other options, okay? There's a lot of things to see here. We're gonna come back to it later. What I wanna do is to publish my form and to give it to you to collect feedbacks about my video. So I'm going to click up here on publish, okay? And when I click on publish, there we go. This is what I got. I'm back into the dashboard and I got a share link, okay? This link here, this is the link of my form. So I'm going to copy paste this link. And when I click on the link, we've got the form. So if I click here and I click on submit, we've got a message: thanks for completing this form, create your own form on Tally. And there we go, look at this, we've got the submitted at and we've got the field that we entered. So Tally transformed our field, and it will transform every field that you're going to put into your form into a column. So here we've got an untitled rating field. This is where the rates are going to be. And if I click on download CSV file, There we go. We've got the data, so I don't got any email for now, but we've got the date submitted and we've got the rating field. When I click on dashboard, I arrive on my workspace because also Tally is working with Workspace, but I can get my form just here, my feedback form. And if I want to edit again, I can click up here and I get back to the editing of my form. This is how we create a first form with Tally. What I propose you to do now is to look at the templates in the next lesson. In the previous video, I showed you how to create a form on Tally. However, sometimes you don't get necessarily the time to create an entire form and you would like to use templates. Well, in Tally, you got templates that you can use. So I'm going to click up here on Create a Form and I'm going to arrive on the form editor that we saw previously, right? So there is an option called Get Started with Template that you can click down here, or you got or start with a template. And when I click on it, I arrive on a list of templates that have been created by members or by the Tally team. Here we see that Mary from Tally created some templates. So basically here those templates can help you to save time and create immediately a form on the fly. So you have a lot of examples, for instance the lead generation form, the registration form, a feedback form, a contact form, or a job application form. So let's say that I would like to create a Tally form to get job applications. So I'm going to click on here and immediately when I click on the template, I got a full example on how my form is going to look like. So we can see here that I got first name, last name, email, phone, location, and we can see also that when we click on some inputs, we've got some options that can be put here related to the type of your input. All right, so I can see that here I got already something existing. So let's say that I would like to recruit, for instance, a community manager for codewithguillaume.com. I would use this template here and I arrive immediately into the form editor of Tally and I can change everything like I want. So I'm going to say community manager, and here it's going to be full-time contract, okay? And here it's going to be for the company codewithguillaume.com. There we go. So now I want to add my logo, so I'm going to do exactly like the same time. My logo is uploaded now. What I want to do is to add a cover, so I can click on cover and I can change the cover. Okay, so I'm uploading a cover that I choose. Are you an aspiring, let's say, community manager? There we go here. So what if I want to put this into Bolt, we see here that I got the code editor directly here, so I can click on Bolt, blah, 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 etc., etc. So I can see on all of them, all of these inputs, okay, that I got inputs type. When I click here on each field, I can see that I got options. I can say, hey, for instance, I want to hide this block. Or if I want it to be required, I can click on require. So when I go down and I try to submit here, okay, when I will try on submit, actually, not now, but later, it will highlight here if it's not a right email. So I want to put all of them as required, okay? And we see here that I got also the example of minimum character or max character. So probably you would like to use this. We're going to see that into customization, okay? So I'm going to click on require, etc., etc. And here we see that I got the upload. So here we got the text area. It's basically working exactly like a text. But here we see that I got the upload option. So when I click here, we see that I got also options about multiple files, max file size, etc., etc. Okay, so let's say that I want to save this. I'm going to click on publish. And like always, what's happening is that I got my share link and I got my community manager offer here with no complete submission yet because I didn't share it yet. If I come back on a new form and I start again with template, what I can see is that I got a lot of options, a lot of templates that I could use for future goals, okay? So sometimes some templates have conditional logic. They already thought about everything. So here we can see that we got some promo Telegram form, for instance. We've got other forms. We see that some people published some forms here. So I'm going to get back to the top, okay? And I can get some other options. I can see by my team, and we see that in my team I have nobody because I just created this account. There is no template yet, but how can I create my own template? We can see up here that I can click on create your own. So if I click here, I get a full guide that tells me how to create my own template. So let's start to create my own template. And let's say that this template will be, for instance, to collect emails. Okay, so collect emails template. Here's a template to collect email. This is a very basic example, but this is to show you how to publish your own template to collect emails. Okay, so if I go down and I click here on insert a block below and I click on email, okay, I'm going to click here. I'm going to click on insert. Here we are. Okay, we see here also that I can move. This is something that I didn't tell the last time, but we see that I can move, for instance, my element down there. This is really, really useful when you want to play with the size and the place of every element. And what I can do is to click actually on publish. And now, while I'm here, I can go down and we see that we have create a template option. So I can click on create and suddenly I got this option here. So I'm going to say collect email. I can put it public or private, okay? So if I keep it private, it's only people in my team that will see it. If I keep it public, we got this. So what I can say is to say, hey, it's going to be about marketing. I can add a screenshot. This is a basic template to collect emails. Basic template to collect emails. There we go. So if I click on complete, what's going to happen is that now my template will be available for everybody. And down here, we see that I got the download count of people who's going to use my template. So I'm going to get back. I'm going to click on delete. And it's asking me if I want to delete this template. So I'm going to say yes. All right. And my template has been deleted, but I can still access, of course, my own instance of collect emails. All right. So up here, I got a collect emails template where I want to I want to change it because I want to use it. So I'm going to keep it this way. And there we go. I got my collect emails. So basically, let's finish this collect emails because it's not really useful this way. So what I want to do, I want to delete all of this. And as we can see, I can get back and I can change totally collect emails by clicking start a new template exactly like we did. So let's say I want to use the contact form. I'm going to use the contact form of Mary from Tally. And there we go. And if I want to, if I want to customize it, I can still click here. I can still go to Unsplash, for instance, if you don't get any banner. I can put this and there we go. Then I will have all this template that will be available. I'm going to click on publish. There we go. I'm going to get back. And what I want to have is to this link to test actually this template in production, because when you create a template or when you create a new form on Tally, it's always good to test it before, okay? So I'm going to test it right away. Okay, I'm on the contact form, so I'm going to say Guillaume, my last name. I got no phone number, but it's required. All right, it's going to be code with Guillaume at gmail.com, and I will say hello and I will click on submit, and we've got this quick message that has been created from the template and that I can change directly inside the form. When I get back to submission, we see that I got the full data here submitted at first name, last name, phone number, email, and I got my question that is here. So basically with those templates, we also got a model on the submission array, on the submission Google Sheet, for instance, if you want to download it as your CSV, everything is already done. And thanks to the template, we can save a lot of time about the question that we want to ask and about the design of it. If you are creating forms, it's to collect data. And if you want to collect the data, you got to share your form to as much client as possible. So basically, we saw previously that when we create a form and when somebody is going to fulfill data, we got here everything that is ordered immediately inside the form. Okay, so if I click here on submission, we see that I got a table exactly like in Google Sheet. And if I want also at the same time, I can download the CSV file. Okay, but if I click here on share, we already saw together that we got a share link already provided by Tally. And this link here is tally.so/r/a code. Here it's a short link. A short link, it's a bit like a bit.ly. If you don't know bit.ly, it's a website where you can shorten links. And basically here we see that Tally is shortening our links automatically. Okay, so basically if I want to share my link, I can just click here on copy. And if I go, for instance, on LinkedIn and I want to share my link, I can click on create a post here, so I can zoom a bit. And if I copy paste the link shared by Tally, what is cool is that there will be a loading preview of my link. Okay, so Tally thought about everything. They thought about the fact that you want to share your links, okay? You want to share your links, but also you would like to make them professional. So if we look at this link, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. We see that we got Tally form, but we got also the image. So if I come back to the form, let's look at it. We see that the OG image, so the image shared on the link, has been taken actually from the cover. Okay, so if you change here the cover, you got to know that here when you're going to share your link, you're going to have the image of the cover. Another thing which seems obvious, but I got to tell it in this video, is that when you share this link, of course, this is the client's form that you will see, okay? There will be no possibility for the user to edit your form. Only you can edit your form inside Tally when you are on your dashboard and when you click here on edit, okay? But when you got this URL, you got actually at the same time the preview of what the client is going to see, and at the same time it's going to be the final product, okay? So when I'm on the URL of my form, so here we see that I got the URL of my form up there, this is the final product of Tally. This is the form itself. So there is no security risk that somebody can change actually your contact form, of course. A last thing that I want to tell you if you are sharing your form is two things. The first one is that probably you want to redirect on completion. So when they finish the form, basically, you would like to redirect to some URL. It's possible to do it in here on redirect on completion. The second thing, it's probably the self-email notification. So probably when you're going to share your form, you would like to know to have a message when somebody is going to actually submit the form. So you can click here, and as you see, you can complete the whole thing. But it's only available on Tally Pro, so I'm going to show you that later. Okay, I'm on codewithguillaume.com, my school online, if you don't know it yet, and I would like to have probably, it's a banner on the top, and I would like that when I click, I would like to have a pop-up or an action with the form embed into my website. So what I'm going to do at first is to come back to this offer, Community Manager, and I will say, okay, that's great, but I would like to share it. So if I click on share, I come back here, I got the share link, but this is not what I want. What I want is to embed the form. So here we see, and it's clearly easy to understand, there are three options to embed this form. The first one, it's a standard option. So when I click on it, and if I unzoom, here we see that I got the option to embed my form inside my website. Okay, so what I can do probably is to create a new page called jobs, for instance. Right, I'm on Nuxt.js, I got this page jobs, and if I come back here, it's empty. I would like to embed my form here. So I can come back, and as we can see, I got several options. So here I can choose standard, pop-up, full page. We're gonna start with standard, okay? So here I got a height. We can see that I can put some options such as dynamic height. So if we click here, we see that we've got some changes about the height, and I got automatically adjust the height of the embed to fit the form content. If I want also, I can hide the form title, which will be cool, I think. I can align content on the left, okay? Or I can have some kind of container here, and it looks really cool, so I'm gonna keep it. I got the custom domain option that we're gonna see later, and the tally branding that I can remove, because right now I got this made with tally that I probably want to delete later. I mean, not delete, but just hide. So I'm gonna click here on get the code, and suddenly I got here all the option to embed the script of tally immediately inside my application. Well, we got the option down here, use JavaScript. So I'm going to click on use JavaScript, and here I'm going to move a little bit because we don't see anything. We can see here that we got some code that I can copy paste, and I'm going just to copy paste this one, okay, just in here, and I'm going to also import this script. All right, so I can use this script that we got here. What I gotta do is to go on my nux.config.ts and use actually the script. So up here, I'm going to add a new script with the source, which will be actually the tally widget embed.js, which is actually the library that will help me to embed the tally form. Then I need to take this tally load embeds. So I'm going to use onMounted, and I'm gonna say if there is a tally inside my scope, okay, I'm gonna say tally load embeds. All right, so now on mounted, if there is tally, it's going to load my embeds. And if I get back, there we go. We've got the form that is totally here embed inside my app. So now we see that we've got some problem here. So what I can say is that I'm gonna say it's going to be class BG white, because here I'm using Tailwind. And as we see, I have embed my form, okay? So I got everything that is here on my website on codewithguillaume.com. So basically, if I'm fulfilling everything, let's see if it goes on tally. And if I go back to tally, we see here that I got one submission, so I'm going to click on it. And we see here that we've got all the data that I just fulfilled. Francis Underwood, there we go. And I got the image that I uploaded. All of this directly from my website, embed as a standard iframe. Okay, so let's remove this now and let's begin again. I'm going to come back and I'm going to click on edit here. So I got this one. Probably I should change some stuff because now it's going to be on the website. I want it to be different. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the pop-up. Okay, so as you see here, we've got an example. So I'm going to move it here. We can also embed tally as a pop-up. All right. So we can see here that if I click on X, yeah, the pop-up is going to disappear, but it's going to reappear. So here we've got some other options. So I'm going to update again, and I'm going to click again on pop-up. So here you got several options. On open, you can say on button click, on page load, when the page is going to be loaded, after some time, when you try to exit, or when you scroll, okay? Then you can say the position of the job offer. Let's say that I'm going to put that like this. And about the width, I can put a bigger width because I want it probably to be larger, because me, as you see, I got a lot of text. So I really got to work on this. I want to hide the title because here we see that the title is too big and is taking too much height. So I want to hide the title. And I would like to say, hey, when you arrive on my website, hey, I'm looking for a community manager, blah, blah, blah. If you don't, you can quit, whatever. There is also the emoji. So here I'm going to change the emoji. Let's say that I want to have a rocket. So I'm going to copy paste the rocket here. I'm going to put this, the rocket. There we go. And as you see, the emoji is moving a little bit. That's really cool. Here I got the animation. Okay, so basically I can change the animation of the emoji. I find it so cool. I can say hide on submit, of course. And I can put some delay. So here I'm going to put 2 seconds delay. And then there are also the same thing. So when I click on get code, it's exactly like before. what we can use here is all the options to embed this pop-up. So on this piece of code, of course, we still got the use JavaScript, and we've got tally open pop-up here option. Then later you can have other options such as pop-up options for TypeScript. You can also pass, as we see here, the options directly inside the open pop-up function from tally, okay? The layout modal, the width, etc., etc. So when we go down, there are several options, but also we can catch when the form is open or when it's closed, on page view, on submit. You can use that to send message, to get logs about what happened actually when the user clicked on it. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to copy paste this piece of code, and of course you understand that this code here is the code of your form to retrieve your form. So I'm going to get back to my application and unmounted with tally. Here I'm going to delete this because I'm not on TypeScript. I'm going to console log at every step, okay? At every step I'm going to console log what's happening in here. So I'm going to put here open, here it's going to be closed, here it's going to be viewed, and here it's going to be submitted. All right, so I'm going to upload here, and when I get back, what do I get? I got my form that appears as a pop-up. So when I click on the X, it's disappearing. So you can still use a button to trigger again this tally open pop-up function. Let's try the last one. Let's try the one with the full page. Okay, so as you see here, I can have a full page embed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy paste this iframe. I'm going to get back. I'm going to remove what I did about this tally one here. There we go. And I'm going to put my iframe directly here. And there we go. I got my full form that is embedded on my website. It's like if I was directly on tally.so with the link, the short link directly on the platform. We saw that with Tally, we can create forms immediately on this platform to collect the data, and we can also embed our form directly inside our websites or applications. Why would we do that? Just because we don't want to code any form and we don't want to store the data in a database where we have to maintain the columns, the data entrance, etc., etc. It's been some times that now I'm using only Tally when I gotta create forms for clients or companies. Because it's always about marketing, it's always about finding clients, it's always about support or stuff that are not necessarily related to developers, but related to sales, marketing, or care. So my best advice of the day is that use Tally to create forms and embed them into your application. You will save a lot of time and you will have not to maintain databases and code. You will just have to go on a URL and get the results. Let's create a new job offer, but this time I'm going to customize entirely the whole form. So I'm going to click up here on Create Form, and I arrive on the editor of Tally. I already wrote an entire job description, so I'm going to copy paste all the text now, and then I'm going to show you how we can customize, fully customize everything about the form. I've created this job offer with the text here. I got responsibilities, requirement, and at the end I have created this own form here to apply to the job with an email address, a LinkedIn, and also an input here where I can upload the files and the upload button at the end. So we are going to customize this entire form together. So I already showed you that at first you can add a logo for your company. So here I'm going to upload a logo. I got this quick logo here. There we go. Then what you can do is also to add a cover if you click on cover. So we already did that. If I go to Unsplash and I look, for instance, for product, let's say product, because I'm looking for a product manager. There we go. I can put this. All right. But also what I can work on is on the design of my form. And of course, if you want to customize your form, probably you would like to put some kind of design. So here you're going to click on design, and what you see is that immediately what you can do is to check the design on light, dark, or custom. Okay. So basically here you can change only the font, okay? The custom CSS is gonna come to another video, but here you can change actually the light or dark theme of your form. So that's already good, okay? So if I click on custom here, what I can do is also to change the colors of my form. So basically, let's say that if I want to change a little bit the background, we see that when I click here, immediately I get the colors that is changing, okay? So here, let's say that I want to change to blue, I can change to blue. Me personally, what I would like to do is probably to have something a bit darker like this. There we go. So probably I will go here. It's just a question of design, but here in terms of customization is gonna change everything. All right, so I put this. And also for the text, if I want to change the color of the text, it's also possible. So as you see here, we've got this color, which is not nice at all. So what I can probably do is just to copy paste here the blue that I had before, and I can go down. So basically there is this blue that I could add. So we see here that we got the text in blue, which could be very nice. But me personally, I think I'm going to do on something a bit more like gray blue. You see, as you see, we've got this. So yeah, I think it's nice to have something like this. All right. So as you see here, when we customize our form on Tally, it's faster than just creating some code or some form into your web application, okay? Of course, you can do it with Tailwind CSS, you can customize your own form, but here it's faster and somebody from the marketing can do it. All right, let's talk about the button here because we see that we can change the button background. So here I'm going to change and I'm going to say apply to job, okay? That's what I want about the button here. Apply to job is going to be the title. So the only thing that I can do when I click here is to change the button label. But what I would like to do is to get probably the same color as my quick logo here. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to come here and I'm going to try to find probably a purple color that is a bit like this. So it's more indigo, by the way. It's more like this one, I think, more to the blue. So let's just switch a little bit. Yes, here I'm doing this because I don't want to catch the color of my logo, but the best solution would be to catch the color of the logo. All right, so if I go back here down, we see that we've got the button as the same color of my logo, which is a very good thing about the design. If I want also, I can change the button text, okay? So here I don't want to put a black like this. I think I'm going to stay on white, but you can change the button text. On the top of my offer, I got a company X here. And let's say that I would like to put the link of actually of my website. But also what I can do is to change the font. And here, so I'm going to go back on the top. So if I click here on font, I can switch to Roboto. So we see that it's switching to Roboto. Then I can switch for Open Sans. So Open Sans look good. So I'm going to enlarge a little bit here. Okay. So what I can do is to change for Lato. So Lato I like a lot because it's a font that we see a lot on the web. And as we see, we got a very large choice of fonts. And this is one of the reasons why we would like to use a tool like this. We would use a tool like this because there's everything in one place and we can change with a visual editor. And it's way faster for us to do this. Okay, so personally, I'm going to stay on Poppins here. I'm going to keep Poppins as a font, all right? And when I switch from dark to light, we see that here, basically, we are not applying all the customization. So here I have to stay on custom if I want to keep this design custom, because for now I'm on a free plan. I don't get all the options, but I think it's enough for me. Now I got my whole form, which is here, which looks way better. If I click on preview, I can have the preview in full screen. It's almost exactly the same as the editor, but here it's better. We have the view that the user is going to see at the end. Another thing that I would like to do is that here down, I would like to have a divider. So if I type /divider, I can type this, and suddenly I have a divider between the information of the company and then the rest of the text. There are some stuff that I would like to put in columns, okay? So probably what I could do is just to put this text here on a column, all right? Which is probably more interesting is that I can drop this block here. And as you see, we have the possibility to put blocks next to each other as columns. So if I drop this, we arrive here with this big text. So I should probably shorten this text, okay? But here we see that I got data next to each other, which is probably more easier for the eye to see and to read. Remove this, then I'm going to pass next to here the divider, and I got this here. Probably what I would like to do is to apply some changes to this part of the text. So let's say that I would like to put this URL with here on italic. It's totally possible also. Here I already got the link, but let's say that I would like to put all of them here in bold. So I'm going to type this bold here, and there we go. All right, at this step, there's a lot of stuff that I need to fix. Here, the logo, it's not very nice, you see. It's rounded by default and my logo is too big. And here the banner is not very nice also. So I will work on the graphics to get a professional image through my phone. Back on Canva, I use the logo that I had and I'm going to put it into a square like this. And I'm going to export it as a PNG and then re-import it into my form. All right, so I click on the form. I'm going to re-upload it here. And then I got something better with my logo here. Also, my banner here, I got to change it. I prefer to look at something more professional. So I will really look into an image that is professional. All right, we've got something that is nice, professional, really customized, but probably I could add more details to it. Let's say that I would like to add a progress bar. So I'm going to click on settings, and here we see that we got a progress bar option. So if I just enable it and click on save changes and I come back, what's happening is that here, and I click on preview, we see that on top we've got a progress bar, but nothing happens. So what I gotta do is to complete my form. So here we see that the progress bar up here is empty. But if I go here and I begin to type an email, we see that suddenly, so we don't see it that much, but here we see that it's half the way. Half the way, why? Because I'm supposed also to put my LinkedIn, which is required. And here suddenly I got the whole progress bar that is fulfilled. If you want to customize later the color of the progress bar, you have to go on custom CSS here and click on plus. However, it's a pro feature. Then later what we can do is just to put the class of the progress bar and add the color that we want. And here it would be, for instance, this lavender color. A last thing that we could do is to create a thank you page, and this is totally free to do on Tally. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down and here I can click on page, okay? So at the end, we see that we have a thank you page option, which is here. So I'm going to click on thank you page and suddenly we see that we don't get anything anymore. So what I would like to do is just to add here a header, okay? Let's say a header 2, and here it's going to be thank you for your application. So this is the thank you page when you apply to the job, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on publish. All right, this is done. And now I'm going to test my form. All right, so I'm here and we see that we got the progress bar. There we go, we've got everything. So if I go down and I type hello@hello.com and here I put hello whatever, and if I click on apply to job, we see that we have to insert a valid link, which is really cool. So let's say it's going to be /linkedin.com/ and my profile is Guillaume Durand. There we go. And if I click to apply job, thank you for your application. Thank you for taking the time to apply for the product manager position. We appreciate your interest in joining our team and considering us as a potential employer. All right, I created a form from 0 to 1 by myself. It's only on one page. It's again a post job offer. And we saw that the custom option here, We can put colors, we can change the logos, we can change the banner, we can change the font, we can put columns. We could also put images here. I didn't do it because it's a professional post job. But here we see that we can really go deep into the customization of our form to make it look like it's part of our website. Because this is the main goal of Tally. It's to provide you a tool that helps you to create a form with a visual editor, but also at the same time to make it look it's like from your company, to make it look like it's from your graphic design system. Previously, I created this entire form that I customized, and I have the access through my Tally dashboard. Now let's look about the integrations. What are the integrations? Well, probably you don't want to collect all the data only into Tally. You would like to transfer actually all the data to another place, to another app. And here we see that we've got different integrations that are possible. We've got Google Sheet, we've got Notion, we've got Airtable, we also got Webhooks. We're gonna make an entire video about Webhooks later. And we see that we can connect also to Google Analytics, Facebook Pixel, Google Drive, Trello, etc., etc. In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect this form, the product manager post offer that I created before, to Google Sheets, Notion, and Airtable. So let's start with Google Sheets. So here I'm going to click on Connect, and we see that we got to make a connection between Tally and Google Sheet in order to collect the data in another actually Google Sheet. And there we go. So I got a link to a Google Sheet that has been created. And here I got export existing submission. Export all previously received Tally from submission to Google Sheets, okay? So I can add an optional name describing what the integration is used for. So I'm going to put product manager, okay, submissions. There we go. Let's say we're going to put that. I'm going to click on save changes, and there we go. So here we see that I got a connection with this green point which says connected. And here we see that it's enabled. If I want to disable it, I can click on it. Otherwise, I can look at the events log. And we see here that we've got one submission that has been delivered, okay? So if I want to open it and look at it, we see that we've got this submission here that I did 10 minutes ago when I did the previous video. So when I come back, we can see that there is a date, etc., etc. So what I want to do is to look at the spreadsheet. So if I click here on the spreadsheet, it's going to open for me the spreadsheet. I can see it's that we've got a product manager full-time full remote Google Sheet that has been created inside my Google account, the account that I selected previously. I can find back this Google Sheet on docs.google.com, and I got the same name, the sheet has the same name as the Tally form that I created. And it's collecting automatically, okay, the data. So let's say that I'm going to add a new email address. So it's going to be new@gmail.com, https://linkedin.com/blah, blah, blah. Okay, and I'm going to click on apply to job. Here I submitted a new application to the form of Tally. And when we look at the Google Sheet, we see that we got the submission date, the address that I just entered, and the link here. So it's really easy to link Tally to a Google Sheet if we want to externalize the data directly to a Google Sheet. All right, so now let's connect it to Notion. So I'm going to click on connect, and it's exactly the same thing. We got to connect Tally to Notion. Suddenly I arrive here and it's asking me if I want to view all the pages, edit the pages, etc., etc. So I gotta select the page where I want to put the data to, and here it's going to connect Notion to Tally. And it's exactly the same. Here I can create a connection name. So I'm going to tell product manager job post Notion. Okay, it's going to be on my account, and I gotta select a database. So back on Notion, what I need to do is to create a database. So I can type database inline. There we go. My data. I need to go to collections here, and we see that we got the connection here with Tally form that is done. So when I click here, I can see that I got my data, which is the database of Notion. So I click here. And now I need to map all the fields. So remember on the Tally form, I got one field email address. So what I need to do is to create here, for instance, an email. So here what I can do is click on edit type. And here it's type title by default for this one. But here if I'm doing it, I can change the type and I can say, hey, it's going to be an email. So I'm going to add the email and here it's going to be email. All right, so I'm going to save this. Then I will have another property here that will be the LinkedIn address. So let's say that I would like to have the LinkedIn address. So what I can do is to click here plus, and here it's going to be, so is there a link? Let's look at it. There is a link, so I can add the link, and here it's of type text. So basically I can change. I'm going to put LinkedIn URL. There we go. And here I can close this, and there we go. So I'm going to map here. I'm going to update this, and I'm having the email, so I can save the email. There we go. So here I can see that I got URL instead of the link that I did before. So I'm going to save this. And if I come back here and I update, so I'm going to update again, we can see that we've got the LinkedIn URL. All right. Okay. I could add more and more properties, but here I'm just going to click on connect with Notion. And there we go. So I got exactly the same option. I can click on event logs and we see that it transferred the previous data from Tally directly to the Notion. Okay. So what I can do is to go check and look at this. There we go. We've got the previous submission that has been entered into this product manager page and this table. So right now, to be honest, it's really empty. You would have to really work on it. But such as this name here, we don't need necessarily this name. We would probably need the created date to be added as a column. But here we see that we can work directly with the data from Tally into the Notion environment. And Tally is aware of the schema of Notion, which is really cool, which really helps us to fulfill our Notion database. All right, let's do exactly the same with Airtable. So I'm going to click on connect and it's always the same path. So here Tally form is requesting Airtable access. So what I got to do is to click on add a base. And this base actually, it's a new sheet that I got to create into Airtable. On Airtable, I'm going to put, for instance, product manager. There we go. I'm going to let the blue color, whatever. We can skip all this setup. I'm going to confirm. And here we are creating a first base. So there we go. We've got a table here and it's exactly the same as Notion. We've got columns here that we got to fulfill from Tally. So here I can click on product manager, my first workspace, and I'm going to click on grant access. So it's supposed to be good. And then this is exactly the same. So it's going to be product manager submission. And you will see every time on every integration, it's almost the same. So I'm going to select the base, which is the product manager with a table. And here it's going table 1. And what I need to do is, of course, what I need to do is to map all the field again. So I'm going to do the email address. And here there is no email column. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to type email. Okay, so email address. We got it here. There we go. So I'm going to put email address. Okay, I'm going to create the field. And then here I'm going to put URL. So here I got a URL. And here it's going to be LinkedIn URL. Okay, so LinkedIn URL. I'm going to click on create field and there we go. So back in here, what I can do is to fetch again the model and I got my email address and here I got email and then I'm adding my field and I got what? I got my LinkedIn and I got LinkedIn URL field. So I can also check the export existing submission here and I'm going to click on connect with Airtable and there we go. We've got also the connection to Airtable. So that with integrations, we can link our Tally form to another platform. So we could have done it also with Slack to get a message every time somebody is going to submit. Or we could have done it with Make, or we could have done it with Zapier, etc., etc. And we see here that we connected all our submissions directly to each platform. And automatically, when we are going to fulfill the form and submit it, when we are going to click on apply to job, all the tables in Google Sheet, Notion, and Airtable are going to be fulfilled automatically. If we got problem and if we want to do backup, or if we want to come back and see the events log, we can come back on every connection that we have here, every integration that we have here, and we have this log that we can check if it has been fulfilled or not. Collecting payment is also possible with Tally. So here I'm going to create a new form, and in this new form I'm going to use the feature of the payment. So I'm going to click on Insert and I'm going to type payment. Alright? So with that, we can create a form that will actually work also with a payment system. So let's say that I'm going to click on Insert, and suddenly I got my form payment that is here. So I'm going to create a form, and it's going to be about my anniversary, and I will say, hey, my anniversary is on the 18th of June. I am collecting money for my next gift. Let's say that we want to do this, all right? So here I got my form, and now what I got to do is to click here on Connect with Stripe. So for those who don't know, Stripe is a payment system that helps us to collect money. To create a new account, go on stripe.com and click on Sign In. Once it's done, we can continue to connect our form, our payment form, to Stripe. So once I have clicked on Connect with Stripe, I arrive here and I need to connect Tally to Stripe. It's the same process as we had with connection to Notion and Google Sheet. So here I'm going to click on Connect because I already got an account. All right, so returning to Tally, you will be redirected soon. And there we go. So finally here, we see that it's all set. So here we are. Now I can ask anybody to make a payment for me directly to my account on Stripe. All right, so this is the quick final form that I got, and I got a payment of $1. And here I got to enter my number card, my name, my email, and then to click on Pay. Once it's published, it's possible for you to retrieve your payments. And you can retrieve your payments actually when you go back to Stripe and you go to Payment here on top right. On top left, sorry, you got the payments, and here you can see all the payment that will be received. So basically, it's really simple to create a payment with Tally. You just need to use the payment solution that is going to work immediately via Stripe. About the payment fees, for the free users, you gotta pay 5% of the payment as a fee, plus the Stripe transaction fee, right? For the Tally Pro user, it's free. You got no payment fee except the Stripe payment fee. So basically it would be interesting for you to take the Tally Pro plan if you're gonna try to collect money through a Tally form. In this example, I just created this short form that is really quick to do. But basically you could create a form for anything where you would like to collect money. Let's create another form. Let's say that now I want to become a coach and I want to be paid every time somebody is going to take an appointment with me. On Calendly, I got events, all right, and I would like to use them to create a booking for my coaching directly on Tally. So what I would do, I would copy paste the session that is here, and I would come back to a form. All right, I'm back on this quick form. Here, I want to book a coaching session. Hello, I would like you to schedule a 30-minute coaching session with me. Please select the time and the amount below to confirm your session. What I would do here is to go on Embed Anything. There we go. And here I can copy paste the link of my Tally session here, my Calendly session, sorry. So here I would put that, I would put embed link. And what's going to happen is that Tally is going to embed actually the Calendly. But this is not the only thing that I would like to do. I would like to collect the payment. So I'm going to type payment, and there we go, okay? Collect and receive payment directly from your bank account. And here's the value. So here I got to type the value, and here it's going to be 30, okay? $30. So I'm going to click on $30 here. I'm going to click on Connect with Stripe. Again, it's going to connect to Stripe account. And look at this, connecting to your Stripe account, all set, and we should be ready. There we go. All right, let's say that I would like to keep this form this way. So here, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to publish this, okay? I'm publishing it. And now I'm going to test to book a session. Let's try to make a fake payment. Here it's not going to work, but we're going to see the payment in Stripe. So I'm going to click on pay. And here we see that we've got an error. And if I come back to Stripe, we see that here I got two incomplete payments. I got the previous payment that I did on $1, and I got the payment of $30, which is here, which corresponds at the date of today. So if I come back to my booking session, which is here, the $30 has been catched, which means that with real money, we can catch actually the payment that is done here directly on our Stripe session. So you see, with Tally, we can collect payment this way by using the module collecting payment and using a Stripe account. "99% of the features of Tally are for free. And we saw previously that we can create a form, we can share this form, we can collect as much data as we want, and we can export it. We can also use the integration immediately for free on Tally. However, with the Pro plan, we have more features. And this Pro plan is starting at $29 per month. Tally is a marketing tool, very powerful. It helps us to collect data and to create form on one click. So with the Pro plan, we have no Tally branding. We can collaborate with several members of our team. We can create workspaces, have custom domain, email notification, partial submission. We don't have any commission on incoming payments, and we are going to see the payment after. And we have unlimited upload. But today I'm going to show you the first part, which is actually the custom CSS. Back on my dashboard, we can see that my Pro plan is on. I'm going to click on my product manager form that I had before. And I can see here on settings that I got partial submission Pro, Tally Pro, respondent email notification Pro. All those features are related to the Pro plan, and I'm on the Pro plan right now. If I edit my form and I click on design here, we can see that I got custom Pro CSS here that is available. So if I click here, I can add my custom CSS. Let's say that here I'm going to add a color to every paragraph. So here this color is going to be red. Immediately it's going to change the color here on my form. So the style that I'm going to apply here on the custom CSS is going to be applied on my form. So of course there's a lot of stuff that I can change. For instance, let's say that here I would like to change the size of this button, right? So I'm going to go here, I'm going to go to inspect, and here we see that I got a button here. So if I click on plus, we can see that I'm actually targeting the button with a specific class that has been coded in here. So I'm going to get back and I'm going to say, hey, on my button, actually, I would like to have a padding left of 12 pixels, okay, and a padding right of 12 pixels also, okay? So if I'm doing this and I'm getting back, we don't see any change here. So I'm going to try to put probably more to see if it is because of the updating that I don't get the change, but we see it doesn't work. So basically what I can do here, it's exactly like in every CSS sheet. I can put my important aspect here, and what we see is that it's applying to my button. Now I can do the same on padding top. Let's say that on padding top I would like to have 18 pixel important, and here we can see that I got this. I'm going to do exactly the same for the padding bottom, but here we see that we've got a problem, all right? So we can fix that. If we know CSS, there we go. We see that my button now is bigger. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to publish and I'm going to verify if my CSS has been applied on the production form. Okay, I'm on my production form. I got my text in red and I got my button down here that has some padding on the left and on the right. So my CSS has been applied. Let's give another example. Let's say that I would like to import a specific font. So right now, everywhere we see that we got Poppins as a font, but let's say that I would like to mix two different fonts. When I go on Google Font, I can select any font that I want and I can import them. So let's say that I'm going to take Geologica, okay? So I got Geologica, which is very nice. I'm going just to add this font that we got in here. And down here, we see that we got this import here. So I'm going to try to copy paste this import link that we've got in here. So I'm going to say, hey, I want to import Geologica. And let's come back and let's just check here, the Geologica one. And I'm going to try to put all my titles in Geologica. So here we see that the paragraph, it's the title. So for now, I'm just going to try to do this. And as we see here, it's changed the font coming directly from Google. All right. So I can mix font, of course, inside my tally form. If I'm using the custom CSS here, I can import my font directly from Google Fonts. So everything we can do in CSS can be done in here. Sometimes you just have to add an important key here to say, hey, actually override what is already written. But basically everything you can do in CSS and everything you can learn, you can add it in here into your form. If you already know CSS, it's useless for me to show you how to write CSS inside Tally. However, what I want to show you, it's all the classes that you can target if you want to really customize your form. So let's look a little bit at the code provided by Tally. And here we see that we've got, for instance, this Tally form cover. All right. So probably you want to target the cover to do something, an effect or whatever. You can target the Tally form cover. And you get the Tally form log here, which will probably target the logo. If I go inside the form itself, and if I scroll down, we already saw the Tally block form title that we can target. And after we got, for instance, this Tally colon list. All right. So probably if you have several elements, you would like to target by the specific classes that are created here. So here we see that we've got several columns, Tally columns that we can also target. We got the Tally block text, but you gotta be safe on this because there's a lot of elements that are using the same the same classes, all right? So sometimes probably you would like to target only one line, for instance. What you would do for that is either to target a specific element related to this line. Of course, when we do CSS on a form, we probably want to change the input. And down here, we see that I got the example of my apply to job with my input, and I got this Tally block input email class that I can use. And if we look closely at the block itself, it's not an input, it's a division, right? And inside this division, we see here that we've got my, actually the placeholder that I got here. But if I want to target this Tally block input, probably I would target here immediately, okay, immediately, the div that is coming just after the actions, right? So I would target through the ID. So let's just update the page and let's come back to this element and let's see if we got exactly the same ID, because probably what you worry about is that we have dynamic IDs that are generated in here. And as we see here, we got exactly the same as the previous one. So you could target this element by using this. So let's say that, for example, you would like to have a border of 1 pixel solid red by default. As you see, you can do exactly the same here. If you go to design here, exactly down there, and you can target it in here. So let's try together. I'm going to expand a little bit the screen. There we go. And I'm going to target the second one, which is here. So I'm going to go here. And we see that I got a class, and this class is this one. So I'm going to put here a point, and I'm going to say, hey, for this one, I would like to have a border of 1 pixel solid yellow. And what's happening in here is that I succeed to target the input that I wanted. There's a lot of things that you can target inside your Tally form. And to help you, the Tally team put classes everywhere that you can target and that you can also apply CSS through the custom CSS module down there. Of course, this is a quick demonstration of what you can do with custom CSS. It would really depend on what form you are building and what you want to do. But basically, to overwrite the CSS of Tally, you would use important. Otherwise, the style would be applied by default to your form. Code injection with Tally is really easy. You gotta go first on custom domain, and here you gotta click on add a domain. So here I'm going to add a domain, for instance, form.codewithguillaume.com. I'm going to click on continue, and there we go. So right now, it's going to look for this subdomain that is not created yet, all right? But we arrived in here. So we've got the configuration, we've got the domain here that are here, and we've got this. So I can say, hey, I want to link one of these forms to one of my custom domain, right? So here, let's say that I'm going to say the book coaching session that we had before. And if I click here, I can go on page settings. And there we go. So we got here a form that helped me to control how form.codewithguillaume is displayed around the web and when shared on social media. All right. So here it's going to be the OG image, for instance. So here I could upload any image, and I could say here what I would like to have here as a link when I'm going to share that on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. So here is going to be book a session with me. Hello, this is a form to book a coaching session with me, right? And then down here, what I can do is add some code. So for instance, here we see that I can add some scripts from Google Analytics, Intercom, Buy Me a Coffee, etc., just down here. So exactly like we did for the code injection of the CSS, what I could do is to add some CSS if I would like to. For instance, here I could add my body, and here I could say, hey, I want everything in color red, whatever. But I can also put some script that I would create previously, or that I would take from another website. For instance, for my analytics, I'm using Plausible. Is that possible to inject Plausible inside Tally? Probably. We should look at the documentation of Plausible, and I should find the link, the ref, to help me to catch every time there will be a visitor on my form. So if I go here, down, I can see that I have the option to add the script to my website, which means that normally I should take this script, okay, and I should come back to my form here, and I should add the domain of actually my form codewithguillaume.com. There we go. So from here, I would be able to catch inside my Plausible instance, okay, I would be able to catch the visitors, right? When we go on the code injection page of Tally, we can see that we've got several options on the bottom. And by the options, we have the Facebook pixel, the Google Analytics tracking code, and the Plausible Analytics tracking code that I just showed you. So if you want to have more information about that, and we see here that we've got exactly the example that I showed you before. The difference is that here I got the script that I should add just after, so window.plausible with the JavaScript code that will be injected. We see here that we got many other options, but also what we could do, and it really depends on you, but what we could do here is to write JavaScript inside a script, right? So here we could say, for instance, and if you want to test it, we can do this. We can say console log hello from Tally code injection, right? So if there's a moment you would like to inject some code, you can do it here through the domain name and by selecting the option that you got here when you select your domain name. Of course, at the end, do not forget to click on Save Changes, which are here, right? And down there, we see that we can add the favicon, and again, we can inject some code in here. Do not forget to click here on Save Changes if you want to update the code injection that you will put into your form. Another thing, if you want to go on to the configuration of your custom domain, you can go here, and you see here that you got everything that is related to DNS SSL certificate. Webhooks with Tally are really easy to understand and to handle. Here I'm on a coaching session form that I created previously. What I can do is to come back to the dashboard, get back to my form, and I can go to integration. Previously, we saw in an integration video that we can connect to Google Sheet, Notion, and Airtable. But there's also the option here, two options actually that are interesting for us. Free option with Zapier, but here we got Webhooks. So here, if you want to have a custom HTTP endpoint, you can use this webhook integration. So when I click on here, what I got is a form that proposed to me to add a webhook endpoints. Okay, so here I could put, for instance, my API. So here I would have https api.codewithguillaume.com. Okay, and I could click on connect here, and as we see here, it's immediately available. It's immediately connected. Exactly like with the integration, I could look at the logs by clicking here on the events log. If I want to edit it, I can click here again. I'm going to come back, and if I want to delete it, I can click on remove. So what's going to happen is that every time an event is going to happen, it's going to hook. So it's going to send to api.codewithguillaume.com a request by saying, hey, there's an event, we would like to do something, right? When you go on the documentation of Webhooks, you can see exactly what I just explained. And here we've got down there an example about the webhook events, right? So if you have an API and you would like to do some other operation, talk to another API or save this data into a database, you can use this webhook integration that we've got in here. So I'm going to show you a little bit. Let's look at what the call is going to answer to us. It's going to send us the data, the date, the event type, so a form response, for instance, and we've got an event ID, which is a UUID. So it's going to be a post, and it's going to use the content type application slash JSON, and here we've got the answer with the type and the value. So here we see that we've got the value that is typed, and this value, of course, you can reuse them. All right, so that was a good example. There we go. But me, I would like to do something that is real. What I would like to do is probably connect Tally to Make. So I'm going to click on connect in here, and here I arrive on Make, and there's a page called Tally integration. And as I can see, I can connect to Make Tally. And from Tally, look, I could do a lot of things. Go to Google Sheets, Gmail, Airtable, Slack, Telegram bot, all right? So I want to build an example to show you how we can connect Tally to any other of these applications. I would like to connect Tally. So here I'm going to look for Tally, and we see that I got Tally that I can connect. There we go. So here I can click on watch new responses. So I'm going to click on here, and now I need to create a webhook. So I'm going to move this way. I'm going to click on add, and here I got a list of connections. So I'm going to add a new connections, and here it's going to be my Tally connection. Actually, it's going to be Code with Guillaume connection. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to click on save, and what's going to happen is going to open my Tally. Okay, so I'm going to click here on accept, and it's going to create the connection between the instance that I have here to Make. And there we go, we've got it. And here we see that in the list, I can catch the form I want to watch. I can catch the form where the webhook is going to work. So I'm going to click on book a coaching session. I'm going to click on save. And when it's going to happen, it's going to be, yeah, there we go. We've got it. All right. So now I got my Tally here, my Tally form. And now I can click here on add another module. And what's going to happen in here is that I can connect this Tally here to another module of my choice. There's a lot of choice. Let's say that you would like to connect it to Discord. It's totally possible. And when you click on Discord, you've got a lot of options. Okay, so I'm going to connect it, I would like to connect it actually to Telegram, right? And on Telegram, I would like to receive a message. So I'm going to click on here, and here I got to fulfill everything about a Telegram bot. So I got to create a Telegram bot. I'm not going to show you everything here. I'm going to create my own bot, and then I'm going to show you the message I received. On the side, I got my Telegram. I'm hiding my private message, and I got this channel here, and I got a bot that I created which is testing tally bot we got in here. All right, so what I want to do is that this bot that I created a connection to up here is going to post a message in this list every time somebody is going to send a tally form. So what I can do is that here on Telegram bot hook, I can catch exactly all the data coming from tally. The response ID, the submission ID, the respondent, the form name, and I can show, for instance, the price, the currency, the email. All right. So what I can do is that I can type new submission and then I can put the variable payment email. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my book a coaching session. I made something simpler for this test. So I'm going to put test@gmail.com. I'm going to click on submit and look at this. Here it passed. We got 1 and 1. And here I got a new submission and I didn't catch the email. I don't know why. I got to check for this. But I think here, I have to get back and just put the fields from the email. But it did work. My new submission has been posted to the channel of Telegram. So here my connection worked directly from Tally thanks to Make. It worked, so now my scenario can be triggered anytime if I click down here on off on Make. And if I come back to my form, we can see that I got a webhook with Make that is down there. We saw that with Tally we can create webhooks to catch the data coming immediately from Tally. Every time we want to take the data out of Tally, we can export a CSV, or we could, for instance, create an integration with Google Sheet or a webhook that will send actually the CSV to Make, to transform it as a file, for instance. Or if we want, we could also create a custom endpoint on an API to catch all events that would appear, that would be triggered, that would be submitted to my Tally form. To create a workspace with Tally, it's really easy. You go on the dashboard and here you got the list of your workspace. So here we see that we've got different workspace. So if I click on create a workspace, I can create, for instance, a team, Code with Guillaume team. There we go. Code with Guillaume's team workspace. Okay, so I'm going to click on complete and look at this. Down there, I got a new workspace that has been created because until now I've had my own workspace. So if I want to move my forms, I can move them into my own workspace. However, if I want to move them to another workspace, I can click here and select, for instance, the workspace of Guillaume. Okay, so here we see that we've got two different workspaces, my own, and probably the one I would like to add a member to. Okay, so the best thing would be here that when I have private Tally, okay, when I have a private Tally, so here I want to have only those forms for me. And this form would be for somebody else that I'm going to invite just after. The best thing would be to rename it. So here I got my workspace, but let's say it's going to be private, okay? In private, I want to keep this one. There we go, okay? So down there, we got the Code with Guillaume team workspace. All right, it's a bit more clean. I got my two offers that are here. Here we see that we've got, I'm going to edit this form because it's not really clean. I'm going to remove this to get a bit of logic into it. So when I come back, there we go. We see that I got my two offers in here. So what I'm going to do, actually in this workspace here, I'm going to share the forms that I created in here. So basically up here, it's private. It's only me, as you see in purple here, Code with Guillaume, that is available here. But down there on the Teams workspace, I would like to invite somebody. So what I can do is to click here on the plus, and here I got the existing members, so only me. And here I can invite anybody via email to join the workspace. So what I can do here is to type the email. I got my second email. I'm going to invite myself. I'm going to click here on invite. And there we go. We see that I got a pending invite. And if I want to remove my invite, I can click here. So here on myhappyagency@gmail.com, I should have an email that invited me to join Tally. If I update, I don't get it here yet. What I need to do is to go to my email and to validate. Back on my email, here we see that I got Code with Guillaume invited you to join Tally. So I'm going to click on create my account because I am not existing with this email yet. All right, so I'm going to create a second account just to have it here. And on my second account on the top, as you see, I got an invitation to join the organization. So I'm going to click on accept. And here I'm going to click on OK. And there we go. As you see on my second account, I got here Code with Guillaume, Teams Workspace, and I got the same access to the form that I share with my other account. So you see, I got two different workspace, and I could create as much workspace as I want, and I can invite as much member as I want. With this tool is that I can make a separation of concerns. If I got my own forms, I can keep them on this. If I got the forms of one workspace, I can keep them on another one, etc., etc. Back on Code with Guillaume tallies, I got my private forms and I got here the forms of the team. And here we see that I got the list in here with the new member, which is here. All right. If I want to remove the member as the admin, I can come back here. I can click on remove the member from this workspace. And there we go. The other account will be unable to see the forms that I fulfilled down there. So create workspace to separate your companies, for instance, to separate your clients, to separate teams, and to separate the work that you want to do. If you want to create a form just to collect email, create a workspace for marketing, for instance. If you got another one to collect for courses like I do, create a workspace courses, etc., etc. Which is really cool with workspaces and the system of team members is that you can separate everything that is related to your business logic. Is it personal? Is it professional? Is it from marketing, from tech, from sales? You could manage everything directly inside your Tally dashboard. With Tally, we saw that we can create forms really fast. We can create different workspaces and invite people to collaborate on forms. Those forms, they can be customizable on every point. You can add as much fields as you want. You can add conditional logic, images, a payment system. You can also make integration with those forms. If you want to catch the data somewhere else, you can connect Tally to Google Sheets, Notion, Airtable, Zapier, Make, and a lot of other applications. Tally is a tool that I'm using every day. I'm using Tally to collect emails, but also to make appointments or just to get data from my clients. I'm using Tally because I don't want to waste my time coding every day. This kind of tools is for me the future, and Tally is right now on the market the best tool to catch data through a form that we can create in less than 1 minute.